Hey, oh, let me get that light in the hall. That's pretty awful. I think it's pretty awful. Just wait. Okay. Okay. It's me reading to you again today. Okay. February 12th, little prayer, daily prayer from Light the Flame by Andrew Harvey. Okay. David's Song of Praise. This is from Chronicles, First Chronicles 16:8-11. Give thanks to the Lord, call on his name, make his deeds known to all people. Sing to God, sing praises to him. Dwell on all his wondrous works. Give praise to God's holy name. Let the hearts rejoice of all those seeking the Lord. Pursue the Lord and his strength. Seek his face always. That's really beautiful. I don't know, that's perfect. So always imagine that wherever you look, whether you're looking at the view outside your window, or at a mountaintop, or at the night sky, or at a blade of grass, or at an animal, or the face of a child, or a lover, understand that you're looking at the face of God. You're looking at the face of God. And that's kind of a thunderous realization when that happens. When you know that's what you're looking at. So always seek that and know that. That's hard. We have to be humble to be able to witness that. I think, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to get on with reading to you from the Urantia book, and we are on the Time of the Tomb, paper 188. The last section in paper 188 is Lessons from the Cross. Okay. The cross of Jesus portrays the full measure of the supreme devotion of the true shepherd for even the unworthy members of his flock. It forever places all relations between God and man upon the family basis. God is the Father, man is his Son. Love, the love of a father for his son, becomes the central truth in the universe relations of creator and creature. Not the justice of a king, which seeks satisfaction in the sufferings and punishment of the evil-doing subject. So this is a father-child relationship that we have with God. Never was a king and subject relationship. Okay. All right. The cross forever shows that the attitude of Jesus towards sinners was neither condemnation nor condonation, but rather eternal and loving salvation. Jesus is truly a savior in the sense that his life and death do win men over to goodness and righteous survival. Jesus loves men so much that his love awakens the response of love in the human heart. Love is truly contagious and eternally creative. Jesus' death on the cross exemplifies a love which is sufficiently strong and divine to forgive sin and swallow up all evil doing. Jesus disclosed to this world a higher quality of righteousness than justice. Right? Mere technical right and wrong. So this higher quality of righteousness is a higher thing than what we normally think of as justice. Divine love does not merely forgive wrongs, it absorbs and actually destroys them. The forgiveness of love utterly transcends. Right, where? I just took my eyes off it. Yes. Divine love does not merely forgive wrongs, it absorbs and destroys them. The forgiveness of love utterly transcends the forgiveness of mercy. The forgiveness of love is a higher thing than forgiveness of mercy. Mercy sets the guilt of evil doing to one side, but love destroys forever the sin and all weakness resulting therefrom. Okay, so I'm going, how does it do that? All right. Jesus brought a new method of living to Urantia. He taught us not to resist evil, but to find through him a goodness which effectually destroys evil. Man, I'd like to learn how to do that. Damn. Okay. Okay. The forgiveness of Jesus is not condemnation. It is salvation from condemnation. Salvation does not slight wrongs. It makes them right. Okay, let's take a look at this. Okay, true love does not compromise or condone hate. It destroys it. Destroys hate. So I don't think it looks for justification. Love doesn't look for justification in the actions that you're taking on the part of, justice in any certain situation. It looks at everything as Margot, stop. My kitty cat is rubbing her face here. Okay. It looks at everything as, I think, part of what we have to go through to be real. Yeah. Okay, get out of here. Here. You want to say hi to the people? Look. See? There she is. She's a naughty girl. That's my Margie. She's got an itch on her face all the time. Okay, say bye-bye. Okay, go play. Okay. Okay, so this is what we're saying here. Okay. The love of Jesus is never satisfied with mere forgiveness. The Master's love implies rehabilitation, eternal survival. It is altogether proper to speak of salvation as redemption if you mean this eternal rehabilitation. So we take whatever we've been through and we embrace it and just say that's part of my journey. And that doesn't condone anything like, oh yeah, you can hurt other people. You can, there's no justification of that. But when you feel, lost or like, yeah, you can be recovered. You can recover if you're honest. All you have to do is be honest with yourself. Okay? All right. Well, let's just keep going. Okay, Jesus, by the power of his personal love for men, could break the hold of sin and evil. He thereby set men free to choose better ways of living. Jesus portrayed a deliverance from the past, which in itself promised a triumph for the future. Forgiveness thus provided salvation, the beauty of divine love, once fully admitted to the human heart, forever destroys the charm of sin and the power of evil. Okay. I think that's wonderful. I think that's true. It's you have to let it in to your heart though, which is the hardest thing, because myself, I am always thinking, am I really worth this love, all this forgiveness and all this and um I don't know. On that basis it doesn't seem real to me. I think that's a common problem for people, actually. So it takes humility and faith to be able to turn your face toward God and open yourself to this divine love. Um, yeah, you're a child of God, and you don't have to be worthy. You don't have to prove anything to anybody. You just be who you are and be honest. Come forward and offer your your heart, your best self, you know, to God, and without holding back, and you'll be embraced. You know, no matter, even he's offering that even to these very unfortunate individuals who treated him this way, this horribly. They treated him this horribly. But still unto them he'll say that if you come with an open heart and ask for forgiveness, and if you want to be your best self, then you're welcome to come still. And I think some of us, you know, almost don't like that, because it's like the prodigal son, right? We kind of think, oh, you can't admit those crazy people into heaven. No, they'll mess everything up. They'll soil the furniture and, whatever. But that's our problem. Okay? That's the problem of the people who are judging. It's God's is this loving to all of the sinners. Okay, and sometimes I mess up the furniture too. I don't know. In heaven, I don't know. Okay, all right. Okay, the sufferings of. Okay, where am I? Did I read the? Okay, the beauty of divine love, once fully admitted to the human heart, forever destroys the charm of sin. Okay, the sufferings of Jesus were not confined to the crucifixion. In reality, Jesus of Nazareth spent upward of 25 years on the cross of a real and intense mortal existence. That's an interesting way to think of it. So a lot of his life was spent, suffering for us, even though, since he was that puts him at about 8 years old. He died when he was 33. And he started to figure out a little bit about who he was and what he was doing here. And he knew that he needed to show these wayward people the way to set themselves free. The real value of the cross consists in the fact that it was the supreme and final expression of his love, the completed revelation of his mercy. On millions of inhabited worlds, tens of trillions of evolving creatures who may have been tempted to give up the moral struggle and abandon the good fight of faith have taken one more look at Jesus on the cross and then have forged on ahead, inspired by the sight of God's laying down his incarnate life in devotion to the unselfish service of man. So this sight is so inspirational that he would reach down to us, even in this way, this very painful way, and that gives us courage to go on and fight the good fight of faith. Because it's hard. I mean, some people do give up and just say, oh, well, nobody really gives a crap about this anyway. Everybody's in it for the, for the money or the, whatever, for themselves. And why shouldn't I just be in it for me? And that's, even though we kind of know that's not what we're supposed to do, we see everybody doing that. It's really hard. But we have to stick together and be inspired by Jesus' example. The triumph of the death on the cross is all summed up in the spirit of Jesus' attitude toward those who assailed him. Okay? He made the cross an eternal symbol of the triumph of love over hate and the victory of truth over evil when he prayed, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. That devotion of love was contagious throughout a vast universe. The disciples caught it from their master, the very first teacher of his gospel, who was called upon to lay down his life in this service, said, as they stoned him to death, lay not this sin to their charge. I think that was Saint Stephen. I think. Right. So they love people so much. Lay not this sin to their charge. So they're praying for the perpetrators of this. Who does that, really? I mean, when somebody is a jerk to you, somebody is like, oh, she won't talk to me. She thinks she's better than me. Just like, oh, you want her to really get her face rubbed in at some point. You know what I mean? I mean, that's what people are like. Who does that? Really? I don't know if I really do that. I forgive my children, my parents, my family this way. Protect them. Even my parents, it was hard for me to forgive. And I had good parents. I wasn't abused or anything like that, but it's hard. Forgiveness is hard, But to forgive people like who are murdering you? Wow. Who does that? Really? Okay. That's what we're called to do. I can barely manage to forgive myself things. Okay. The cross makes a supreme appeal to the best in man, because it discloses one who was willing to lay down his life in the service of his fellow men. Greater love no man can have than this, that he would be willing to lay down his life for his friends. And Jesus had such a love that he was willing to lay down his life for his enemies, a love greater than any which had hitherto been known on earth. Wow. On other worlds, as well as on Urantia, this sublime spectacle of the death of the human Jesus on the cross of Golgotha has stirred the emotions of mortals, while it has aroused the highest devotion of the angels. The cross is that high symbol of sacred service, the devotion of one's life to the welfare and salvation of one's fellows. I want to say that I feel like I'm devoted to the life of my people, or just people in general, but dang, I can't make them pay attention to, I mean, how do you get them to, like, oh man, don't do that. Don't, no. Okay, the cross is not the symbol of the sacrifice of the innocent Son of God in the place of guilty sinners, and in order to appease the wrath of an offended God, but it does stand forever on earth and throughout a vast universe as a sacred symbol of the good bestowing themselves upon the evil, and thereby saving them by this very devotion of love. That when I've noticed when the book uses the word evil frequently, it doesn't mean evil how we traditionally think of evil. It means more misguided and immature, right? Than it does like horrible, like unrepentant, just like evil. Evil to me means something really that's incalculably just bad and rotten to the just but I think they're using this as something that evil can be canceled out by love. Okay, at least that's how I'm used to thinking of evil. So this is a different take on just the word evil. Okay. All right. The good bestow themselves upon the evil to help them, right? Lao Tzu says, what is a bad man but a good man's charge? And what is a good man but the keeper or the mentor of a bad man? That's what we're here to do. Okay. Right. So we bestow ourselves upon evildoers. The cross does stand as the token of the highest form of unselfish service, the supreme devotion of the full bestowal of a righteous life in the service of wholehearted ministry, even in death, the death of the cross. And the very sight of this great symbol of the bestowal life of Jesus truly inspires all of us to want to go and do likewise. There's mine, folks. I found it under my car in the library. When I came out of the library, it was under my car. So I thought, okay. And I have it. When thinking men and women look upon Jesus as he offers up his life on the cross, they will hardly again permit themselves to complain at even the severest hardships of life, much less at petty harassments and their many purely fictitious grievances. His life was so glorious and his death so triumphant that we are all enticed to a willingness to share both. There is true drawing power in the whole bestowal of Michael, from the days of his youth to the overwhelming spectacle of his death on the cross. Make sure then that when you view the cross as a revelation of God, you do not look with the eyes of the primitive man, nor with the viewpoint of the later barbarian, both of whom regarded God as a relentless sovereign of stern justice and rigid law enforcement. Rather, make sure that you see in the cross the final manifestation of the love and devotion of Jesus to his life mission of bestowal upon the mortal races of his vast universe. See in the death of the Son of Man the climax of the unfolding of the Father's divine love for his sons of the mortal spheres. The cross thus portrays the devotion of willing affection and the bestowal of voluntary salvation upon those who are willing to receive such gifts and devotion. There was nothing in the cross which the Father required, only that which Jesus so willingly gave and which he refused to avoid. So again, the Father did not require, he kept saying, but this is the will of the Father. It's like, okay, it's kind of like the high road. It's like he chose to take the high road, the highest possible road. So like, like I could say, I'd like my son to go to college and earn a degree or an advanced degree, but I don't require that of him to for him to earn my love, my respect, my affection. The same, I think it's like that. So you've done the minimum you need to do to be considered here worthy of you, but you've done more than that. You've went above and beyond, and he's done more than just that. Okay, so the Father did not require, there was nothing in the cross which the Father required, only that which Jesus so willingly gave, and he refused to avoid it. So he kind of went the extra mile. But he kept saying he wanted to do his Father's will. If this is your Father, the Father's will. But that just meant that, if this is what you think is the best thing I should do. Just like my son asked me, well, what's the best thing you think I should do? Should I, work in a store, or should I go to college? And I tell him, go to college. Okay. But I don't require that of him. He doesn't have to do that to earn anything from me. That's just what I'd advise him to do. Just like probably that's what God the Father would have advised Jesus. If you want the highest possible outcome for this adventure, then you have to submit yourself as fully as possible to the human experience. And, but you don't have to. I think that's something that's comparative. Okay. If man cannot otherwise appreciate Jesus and understand the meaning of his bestowal on earth, he can at least comprehend the fellowship of his mortal sufferings. No man can ever fear that the Creator does not know the nature or extent of his temporal afflictions. Okay, that's what it really means to me. Yeah, that God really knows me, what I go through. I can't say that he doesn't. We know that the death on the cross was not to effect man's reconciliation to God, but to stimulate man's realization of the Father's eternal love and his Son's unending mercy, and to broadcast these universal truths to a whole universe. Wow. Okay. Next time we're on paper 189. Thank you. Thank you very much.